Oh, mama, down by the river, you know I'm a sinner. Oh, a sinner for love. There you go.
I want more.
Boom.
I want more. That was perfect.
All right.
That was amazing.
And it's Glorious Sons, man.
It's always amazing to have it. Like, I want more. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Awesome, thanks.
It's great to see you. I haven't seen Kevin, in like 4 years?
4 years,
Last time
probably.
it was IBS there, right?
Probably.
Yeah, and I think it's been even longer for you, like 6 or 7 years. Or something,
Yeah,
since
roughly.
Jersey or something like that, which is a bit while, yeah. I just met the ringer here. That's all it is.
He's the ringer. That's why I brought him.
I just shocked you guys, didn't I?
You did. You knew you were doing this the whole
He wasn't practicing on the way down?
I like to keep everybody guessing.
all along. You had it.
I just pulled that. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you didn't. You sing that in your car
in
every
the head.
day.
He was just rotating it over and over. So we got finally Thermory's in the house. Thermory USA is in the house, obviously to match my eyes.
Yeah.
No, this is good to see Kevin and have him back in the house. I think everybody who's listening to the show realizes how much I have such a love for Thermory. And funny enough is I would say it's my second year or first year ever going to IBS is when I first met you. This is going way back.
That would have been like 2013, maybe.
Even further back.
Could have
then.
been 2000.
Yeah, around there, around
the first
that time.
year we did it. First year we did it was 2012.
Where were you? Was it? It wasn't Vegas.
It was Orlando.
It was Orlando. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I first met him, and obviously
There's a difference. We say, oh, it's Orlando, or
It's Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, it's Vegas.
Where's it this year? No, it's in Vegas for good now.
It's
right?
in Vegas, and whoever makes these decisions, please, if somebody's listening, just keep it in Vegas. You can't get around Orlando.
I actually liked it when I was in New Orleans. Am I the
I don't-
odd one here or what?
That's man.
I
When
think
was
they've
that?
outgrown New Orleans.
No, I know they have outgrown it, but it was nice to go
It's a great town.
work
Yeah.
and then go to the
best
quarter.
food in the country.
Yes, that's what I was loving about it, right? So that was fun. Atlanta was okay.
Yeah.
No big thing. Chicago was okay. But yeah, then you have Vegas and Orlando is basically what it was. But
Yeah. It's always more fun in Vegas.
big. It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's start
Vegas.
talking about wood.
Yeah.
No, obviously I want to talk about, let's talk about a little bit of the history. I want to share a bit. Let me get the deets out of the way first of all. You can find them at thermoryusa.com. You can email them at support@thermoryusa.com. You can find them on IG. Are you guys on TikTok yet or no?
I don't think so.
No, just
LinkedIn,
on IG right now,
Instagram,
which is under Thermory
Facebook.
USA, right?
Yep.
And then also we got Jordan, right? So from Russin Lumber, you can find them on IG, Russin Lumber Corp.
At Russin Lumber Corp on IG.
And then also to reach you is sales at russinlumber.com.
At Russin.com.
Yeah, so co-president, outside sales with Brandon. What does that mean? You only do sales on the outside?
That's it.
That's it, basically, right? And then Kevin, you're the CEO now at Thermory USA.
Newly appointed.
What was your old title?
We didn't. Truthfully,
You didn't have a title.
We didn't like titles. I still don't like titles. But if I have to have a title, it's CEO. But we used to go by principal because it was the least assuming.
So what was the first thing that you did when you took over the title?
Oh gosh, I
Change the toilet paper.
open the
Because
window,
now
open the
I'm
window,
sure
set it off.
you have lots of conversations and you're trying to figure out, what
Yeah,
are we going to do now? But the brand's been growing.
Yeah,
The brand's been growing really well.
Yeah, significantly for 12 years now. I think the first thing is, it's not like it was yesterday I was not CEO, then today I was CEO. There was talks and conversations leading up to the point where the decision was made. And then I was CEO before, most of the company actually in Thermory USA knew that I was CEO. So I had a lot of time to think about, where do I want to take the company? What's the vision? Why are we doing this? Why are we who we are? And so I took a lot of time to have conversations with a lot of people. People are the biggest asset in our company. We can't do anything without them. So having conversations with them about what's working, what doesn't work, what should we change, where are we going, and helping figure out, have them help me figure out where do we go, what do we do.
The market's changed, guys? It's like what the consumers are asking for these days. There's a lot of competition out there, right? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a lot of competition, and they say imitation's the greatest form of flattery or whatever, and I think that there's a growing awareness of thermally modified wood and its place in the industry. And I think when Kevin and I, got started in this crazy thing 10 years ago, and lots of people told me I was crazy, and nobody's telling me I'm crazy anymore. And so, yeah, of course, there are going to be imitators, but that rising tide will lift all boats to a degree, and it's also incumbent upon us to continue to do what we did when we started, which was innovate like crazy and always stay a step or a mile ahead.
Are people like, do you guys see it where people are more interested in spending more focus and attention on the outdoors? And it's not saying that you guys are just a product for the outdoors, because obviously you can clearly see that this is indoor and it's an accent wall, so to speak, and you can actually create some really creative ideas with the product, right? But are you guys
we
seeing
actually just launched an interiors program this year with some non-modified woods in addition to modified woods as well.
for the interior use?
For interior use.
How come I didn't even know this? I never got a newsletter. I'm not even part of the newsletter anymore. I'm not even part of the e-blast anymore.
We can talk about a lot of things that are going to be new to a lot of people today.
Well, before we get to that, I want to share everybody. Like I want them to know what's coming down the pipe and what's happening. Obviously, IBS is coming down. It's going to be a huge show again. But I mean, how did it all start? Like, how did yours start for Thermory? How did Thermory start? I want people to understand that part of it, right?
How far back do you want to go? Well, you see, Manny.
First, we were walking on all fours. Yeah, no. How far back are we going to go?
I'll go back to, there's a saying in the wood industry or the building industry, I think, that it's you either end up in this business by accident or family. And for me, it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
My mom and stepfather, they worked at a hardwood custom door business. And I worked there on weekends and nights and things, sweeping the floor and loading trucks and sanding doors. And then I was going to college for not long.
What was your major?
Physical education.
I can see that.
Yeah. Brendan and I played hockey together, and I had a short-lived hockey career that was cut short with some injuries and things, and I thought, I want to go into the coaching side. And I
can see that.
And I didn't... so I don't know. I guess there's a coach in me somewhere with CEO, right? But I was going to school for physical education, and I worked a night shift with my mom. She worked between the day shift and the night shift, and I came in one day, and she said, "Hey, Kev, you're supposed to sign up for classes for next semester. What are you taking?" And I said, I want to be a woodworker. And my mom was pissed. She didn't
like that?
She didn't like it. No.
She wanted you to become...
I don't know. I think that she could appreciate that, maybe she had a narrow view of what that meant. And I think that our parents always want something better for their kids than they do themselves. And, looking back, I thought that, it was a great company. It spurred off several other different door companies and woodworking companies in Western New York State. Brendan and I are actually located in just outside of Buffalo. And, I think, she didn't want me to, I think she just wanted more for me. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I don't know, fast forward, and maybe it's a little bit of fate, but I said to her, I don't want to just be a woodworker. I want to change something. I'm going to do something someday. And here it is. I think we've done something, I'd like to say. So,
did she call it just a woodworker, or did you call it just a woodworker?
She did.
Okay.
Yeah. And I say that she has she had the liberty to say that, being in the space herself, and I don't think that it's not this is what we do. I'm not, being a woodworker is an incredible thing, I think, but it's, what parent doesn't want their kid to be a lawyer or a doctor or a professional hockey player or whatever, right?
I would say, like, being
those
a
are
woodworker,
great fallback careers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I personally love it. I think if she were to look back on it, back then, she didn't mean it like in a bad way. It was just, she wanted something great for me.
What I think, what I'm thinking about as I'm hearing you say this is, being a woodworker is a phenomenal career, and it requires a degree of craftsmanship and a willingness and an ability to think through a project in a way that most people just don't have. At the same time, being a woodworker is very different from completely changing the way wood products are consumed and used in North America.
Yes.
And I think it's a big leap for a mother to think my son, who just dropped out of college, who wants to be a woodworker, is someday going to completely change how wood products are thought of in the United States.
Correct.
So,
yes. Yeah. Yep.
Which is a good thing, no? That's how
it's a fantastic thing. I think I'm proud of the fact that we,
I would say you guys have actually changed the industry, because I think before you came on the landscape, like, it was already going down the other route, right? It was going to this whole other kind of product, so to speak, right? Which everybody that listens to this show knows I'm a diehard wood person. I would always be a traditionalist. I'll always fight the battle of wood and woodworking, right? I respect the other products that are out there, but I have a love for wood just because that's who I don't know what it is. I wasn't taught that. I'm not a student of woodworking. I just learned that from touch and feel. And like when I met you and I saw that product there, my first question to you was, can I put it in a shower? Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about.
Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about that job.
Right, and that was one of my favorite. That still gets recognized to this day, right? Yeah. And it's still in great shape. So it's like the principles behind it made sense. Yeah. And it was about the creativity, and that's what I think that you guys have done. Is excuse me, you guys have brought creativity into the industry. You brought a product that people, whether it's boots on the ground, contractors out there, or designers, or architects, or engineers, can look at this and go, "What can I do with this? Like, what else can I do with this?" And that's what I think that the product has done. That's just me personally looking at it.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of arguments with homeowners and also other tradespeople in the industry that are saying that, well, you got to maintain it or you got to let it age. There's two different ways of looking at it, right? There's always a positive. It doesn't matter. You can look at it as a negative. You can look at it as a positive, right? I like the way your product looks when Mother Nature has treated it, so to speak. You know what I mean? That's me personally, but a lot of homeowners don't like that. But I mean, like, I've walked on your product barefoot. I've actually cut your product, installed your product, all that stuff. So I'm aware of all that stuff. I've done the competition. I've done the other stuff too. And I'm not as happy when it gets to that point, right? That's my 2 cents, my plug. I'm out of here. It's done. No, but you have changed. And that's why it's not, and you're getting a lot more people, I think, today. I think parents are maybe changing their mindset now.
Yes. Yeah, I have to remember, there's a connotation to going to college, 25, 30 years ago now at this point. That you didn't go into trades, and that's I think that's probably part of when to use air quotes, and she used the word "just" a woodworker.
Yeah,
I think a lot of our parents would have said the exact same thing, and not just specifically woodworker, but plumber, electrician, framer. Concrete,
you ever go
whatever.
back to her now and remind her that you could have a degree in physical education?
Oh, you can't do that.
Today on the way home, I'll call her, and I will say that. Yes.
No. And then, okay, so now you're off mic. We were just talking, and you come from the industry, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's all full circle here. I started in this industry with, you called me and said, would you be interested? This is a short stint in college, of course. Would you be interested in working with my mom and dad? They opened up their own shop. They left that shop.
Yeah.
And they opened up their own shop, and it was custom doors and windows.
Yeah.
And I said yes. And I loved Kevin's vision, always have. And I said, yeah, you know what? Let's do this. And pretty much learned everything I know from that. I mean, everything starts with a good foundation. You know that, right? And it started with Lee. Lee took me in under his wing, and we were bringing in rough sawn lumber off the truck in the back loading dock and came in. And next thing you know, it's out the other side. There's this beautiful matching window to an old historic home on Nantucket. And I was thrilled with it. Loved it. Loved every second of it. And that was it. I was raptured.
Yep.
And that's where it all began for me. So, but it is full circle. Yep. And there's more to that story, obviously. But
then you get into the whole business side of it. You do the construction side of it. And now you're working with Jordan now, and you guys are handling this side of the business.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I love both sides of it. I miss some of the other stuff, of course, but I'm still involved. I get to do some more projects around my own house, which is fantastic. My wife loves that. Check. So
bonus points here.
Yeah.
But you guys have enough years between you to see the tradesperson's changed, like in a positive way. I think that they're more embracing of new ideas, new products. Are they not?
I mean,
yeah,
I think so. I think some of that is a generational shift, and some of that is just by necessity. I think the internet has democratized our industry, and I think there's so much choice out there now. And what used to happen 25 years ago was Mrs. Jones would put down a gray composite deck, and Mrs. Smith would see that and want the same thing. And I think today, Mrs. Smith sees Mrs. Jones's gray composite deck, and she spends 40 hours on the internet finding something that's unique to her tastes and predilections. And so the tradesmen that she's going to work with have to be able to zig and zag with every individual project, because the world is available to all of us now. And it used to be that I was dependent on the contractor that I would call into my home to be the sole source of expertise on that project.
Yeah.
And that's just changed completely.
Are you guys, I'm trying to figure out, the difference between the borders here, because obviously you guys are in Canada right now, but you're Americans. Are the American tradespeople, if you're a wood person, you're a wood person. If you're a composite person, you're a composite person, or you play on both sides of the fence?
Before Brennan, I would say Brennan has a very direct black and white answer for this.
Good, love it.
But I'm gonna guess that for the most part, I think that people, if you're wood, you're wood, and if you're composite, you're composite.
I'm 100% with Kevin on this. Either a wood guy or you're not.
See, up here, they play both sides. They'll go where the client's asking them to go. So they retool their mindset on, okay, you want a composite? I'll give you a composite. You want wood? I'll give you wood. I think that's what happens here on the Canadian
Where's the
side.
art in that? Where's the art?
It's right here, buddy. It's right here, man. I will stand alone and just be like that. But
I don't feel like you wouldn't do that.
I would never do that. I've done my share.
That's why we were attracted.
I've done my share. I'm not joking. I've done my share of composite, but I don't have a smile on my face. Like I'll do it, and they're happy, and they love it. It's great, and the workmanship's great. Team's working well, and it works. They're happy, but I could be a lot happier.
Yep.
Right. But it's also, you're running a business too, and you want to make the customer happy. So this is what they've done like you said, Jordan, they've done their homework, they've done their research, and this is the product that they want to go with, which is great. I never will speak negatively. I'll always speak like, this is how I'm going to handle this, is how I'm going to take it and take care of you and do all that stuff. And I think that's on the Canadian side, you get people who play both sides of the fence.
I had somebody on, it was a Facebook comment years ago when I was still monitoring our feed and commenting on Facebook, and somebody said, "Yeah, but it's there was the argument started about composite versus wood," and I remember I came up with what I thought was a quite quippy response at the time. I said, "Well, there's people that like fake maple syrup, and there's people that like the real stuff, and there's a world where both can exist. I happen to like the real stuff."
Yeah, just tap the tree and that's it. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. That's actually a good way to look at it.
That's a great way.
Yeah.
Are you seeing the growth, though? I mean, now that it's been already established, because it was harder probably 12, 13 years ago, trying to explain this, right? I mean, for you guys want to share, I guess, a layman's version of thermally modified lumber.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Please. I insist upon it.
I've given this spiel so many times, I hope it comes out right. It's heat and steam. There's no chemicals at all whatsoever. We change the structure of the wood on a cellular level, changes the color. So as you see the wood behind me here, it's got a stain on it, but the stuff behind you there, that's actually a Scots pine, which is it's typically a white, it's a white wood. So changes the color, gives it that nice dark brown caramel color, increases the rot resistance and increases the stability of the wood. So it doesn't have as much it doesn't have as much absorbency anymore, so it doesn't want to take on and give off as much moisture, which reduces the amount of movement that the board can have.
And that's basically it.
That's basically it. The principle is very simple, but the ability to do that with the level of care and perfection that we insist that we provide that's where the artistry comes in.
How old is the process?
It goes back into the 90s, into the mid to early 90s, back in Scandinavia and Finland. But we actually got started in it back in 1997. So we were the first ones to do it with hardwoods, and we started with ash, both North American and European ash, back in the very early 2000s when we got into hardwoods.
Still making the hardwoods too, aren't they? Or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're actually one of the largest consumers of ash in the world. And then we've actually, because of the emerald ash borer and the depletion of ash that's available, we're still one of the largest consumers of ash, but we've also branched into red oak as well. But there's several species that we can modify, but we can modify basically any species.
But they react differently, though.
But they react differently, and the art and the science behind how to modify those species, then hold those species within a level of perfection and accountability that our customers expect and that we expect of ourselves. That's what's totally different. That's really what sets Thermory apart. So, can you modify fir, for example? Sure. Not to the standards that we want to.
No, but it's not gonna have the longevity.
It might not necessarily have the longevity. If you can create longevity, then are you going to damage the wood to the point where it's not going to perform? Or if you're going to modify the wood so that it can, I'll use the word in a gray way and say perform. I'll put air quotes around perform. then it's not, maybe it lasts for 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 years. But is it going to last 25 years or more like ours does? Absolutely not. And finding that balance between, perfection and performance and perfection and rot resistance, it's a fine line that we know exactly how to walk.
So how did you guys, you're getting into it, but you're already educating him, getting into it, how to get it to the masses and how to explain it to them. How was that uphill battle at the very beginning when you're talking to tradespeople? You know how we are. We're basically just, one chromosome away from being Neanderthal. So it's like we're barely upright, and all of a sudden a new product shows up on the market and we're asking questions about it, but we don't even know what to ask. And now we have to listen to you explain something that makes sense, but without us justifying that it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The beginning was interesting. As I think I said earlier, a lot of people definitely told us we were crazy when we were first getting started. And you're right. Contractors are, as a rule, resistant to change.
Very much.
But architects, as a rule, are visionaries and
Yeah.
are willing to try something that's brand new if they believe in the story and understand the why behind it. And with Thermory's products, there's a really clear why behind what they're doing that architects immediately latched onto. And then they'd specify a job or two. We'd get it into a contractor's hands. He might say, well, this wouldn't have been my choice, but I'll give it a shot. And then, wow, this stuff is really easy to work with. It's incredibly low in waste. It's beautiful. I don't have any splinters.
Easy
Every
to
single
cut.
piece
Easy
is
to cut.
dead perfect. Easy to cut. Exactly. And slowly but surely, they start evangelizing the message because they become believers.
It's a good ride, no?
It's been a good ride.
Was it easier for the architects and designers to embrace it versus the tradespeople?
I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think part of what also helped us is that a lot of our natural competitors, I'm using air quotes, were products that had significant perceived environmental challenges. So, for instance, right out of the chute, we were competing with tropical hardwoods, things like Ipe. And being candid, Russin distributes Ipe, and I think that there are ways to do that in an environmentally
Not for long.
responsible way.
We running out? We're totally running out?
But the reality is that every Ipe tree that gets cut down is one less tree that's standing in the Amazon, and there are a lot of reasons to look for alternatives to that. And so today, the city of New York has banned the use of Ipe in municipal and public projects, and
Is that a recent thing?
within the last
few
4 or
years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
and a lot of those projects that would have historically gone tropical hardwoods are using Thermory's products today.
The boardwalk.
Yeah,
example.
the Coney Island Boardwalk, a really
Yeah.
good example of that.
Yeah. When we got started, that was that Coney Island Boardwalk. That was a, call it a dream. It was like, man, maybe one day Thermory could be.
How long are we talking
could be
about
on
here?
that.
Like, how long is that walk?
2000. Oh, how long is the boardwalk?
Yeah.
No idea. I know it was our section was 10 truckloads.
Yeah, I think it was 8 containers. I think is what you
8
shipped
containers
last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Of 2x6.
it's enough to buy a lot of Nathan's hot dogs.
Yeah.
And to enjoy them. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're proud of that job. That's incredible, and it's neat to see that this is architects, society, municipalities, they're shifting to making a more responsible decision. So it's a North American species that's naturally renewable. Our North American forests are harvested, nearly as good as any forest in the world, and we've taken that species and made it completely rot resistant.
But it's got to be like the
Just
love
as
of
rot
the-
resistant as an Ipe or any other tropical wood.
But it's the grain. Like as much as I've only done one eBay deck because I had to fight it. I had to fight it the whole time to get it. It turned out beautiful, but you fought to get it to beauty, right? But it's the grain of the ash that I think stands out for me, right? When anybody, like, there isn't a single person that I can give a sample of the, you guys and your ash, and they'll look at the grain, and it's insane how beautiful that looks when you install it on a product, like on a project. It's just mind blowing the way it looks.
Yep.
And it hasn't been copied yet.
Not well.
No, not well. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
One thing we're finding is, and Kevin taught me this very early on, is it's relatively easy to turn wood brown.
Right.
It is very, very difficult to achieve a cellular change within the core of the wood. And so, that's why early on I mentioned, we'll have some imitators as time goes on, but getting a product that's as consistent and long-lasting and dependable as what Thermory's been delivering on for over 25 years now is a whole different story.
specifically Jordan with you 11 years, 12 years. This is 2024, so I think
I think it's 12, right? Was it 2012 that we got started?
2012 or 2013, somewhere,
Yeah.
13.
We were
13.
young.
We were young.
Now I'm old. And
Yeah. We used to be.
You got no grays, man. Once you
good
get
genes.
grays,
I got great genes.
Don't
Jordache,
pan,
right?
don't
The
pan
Jordache jeans.
pan the camera towards us.
Well, I was going to ask you, have you guys had a chance to go back and see some of the earlier projects and see what they look like today? I can imagine what they look like, right?
We actually Brendan and I passed one here in the QEW. It's a place called Cedar Springs, or I think they're a landscape architect firm, right in the QEW. And that looked. We both said we're like, holy, it looks like it was. I think they refinished it, yesterday.
Was it 12, 13 years or?
I don't know.
That was probably 2014. I'm gonna guess, and 2014, maybe 2015. So you're talking 9-10 years. It's beautiful.
Yeah, some harsh winters, man.
Yeah.
Not this winter. We've had a mild winter, right?
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
But it looks like a showroom.
Yeah,
Was it oiled? No.
it was.
It was oiled.
Yeah, it was oiled. So it was so it was dark. I looked like the
A piece of walnut there.
piece of walnut. Yeah.
No, I didn't have any leftover cutoffs I could have put on the table here.
I was going to point to that, but that's
No, it's a different one. No,
that's a Scots
totally
pine,
different
but
at that
yeah,
point, right?
yeah.
So I can't. I don't have any. I think I still have some pieces of the old ash, the 5/4 board. I think non-groove.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I used to tinker around and mess around with certain things. I'll try this. I'll try that. It's just like it's woodworking at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't do with anything.
One
else.
day you can pass those down to your grandkids.
They'll do something well with it. They'll build a little mini deck or something, or you can build a doghouse out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Silas is already my son Silas, he's already in the business, so to speak. He was bringing our samples into school and trying to sell them.
That's awesome.
Nice.
As what? As like coasters or something? I don't know.
He said, this is my dad's product. You need it. You
It's in his
gotta
blood.
have it. Yeah, it's in his blood. Yeah, I made it. I got him Thermory business cards that say educational sales representative. So he's quite proud of that.
Are they still were they still made out of wood? The cards at some point weren't they?
I think I had wood cards years ago, but that's
Way
so,
back
it's so
when.
cliche
Those are
now.
cool.
It's so cliche now.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's kind of
No.
cool. I think it's kind of cool now.
Honestly, I don't have cards anymore.
No.
I never give them out.
Nobody
Yeah.
deals with that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys: is it different mindset across the country? Are the Western folks treating your product differently versus the Eastern folks, Midwest?
That is a great question.
Because it is here in Canada. Like you get a different mindset of people building out in
Sure.
BC versus out in the East Coast here, right?
I think out west, in general, the product has been adapted more easily. Not that it's not just as readily available and accepted out east as it is in the west, but yeah, I think in general out west they're just a little bit less. They're a little more apt to change.
I think that's probably fair. I don't have the exposure
Yeah.
to the West Coast that
How
you
far
do.
do you go, Jordan? Like
We cover 13 states. We run
wow,
from
that's a big chunk.
Yeah, it's a big chunk. Runs from about Bangor, Maine, down to Charlottesville, Virginia.
How many trucks you got going on these days?
I think it's 12. You might know better than
My
me,
answer would have
Brendan.
been all of them.
There's 11 trucks.
But there's also got to be a different way that they build as well, too. You're getting the tradesperson or the deck builder or anybody else that's handling the wood in the West versus the East. They treat it differently, right? So you're also, I could see a lot more floating deck projects happening in the East here. Am I not right? Like we're starting into the world of creating pedestals and things like that and getting into the pack systems and stuff like that, right?
I think,
Or no?
Honestly, we're probably starting about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we really started to shift more into cladding. Cladding is, we do a lot more cladding than we do decking nowadays. I think the decking market is quite beat up with so much competition, not just with modified woods or thermally modified wood or wood in general, I think, but you get into the composites and synthetics and things. There's a lot. But you can see, a wood clad home, you can see that from the road. You can't see the deck from the road. So people are willing to, I think, lean into the architecture, the appearance of the house a little more, which you can you get a little more bang for your buck when you're putting Thermory up on the face of your house.
I agree with him, but 30% of my Thermory sales are decking, and I'm going to hang on to every percent of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But still, you got
But it's
30%
30%
coming out of the siding side of things.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Wow, so it's grown.
So 30% decking or 30% cladding.
30% decking.
So
Decking.
and the remaining is
Probably
is cladding.
5% porches and then 65%
Yeah, so
cladding.
so more cladding.
So you
And
got
same thing for us as a
shed
company.
some light now. I mean, you've got the deck boards, which you're getting different kinds. I know you got the 1x4 T&G, right? You can do that in ash, and
Yeah,
also
we do. This is a fun conversation to have, especially with tradespeople, because you're used to a 1x4.
because the brochure's gotten thicker.
It's thicker. Yeah, exactly. So we do a 1x4, a 1x6, a 1x8. I mean, but then, say we call a 1x6 max, whether it's a deck board or a cladding board, and that's 5.9 inches wide, so just shy of a full 6 inches.
Okay, yeah.
Why? How come?
Oh, 5/4 board.
In 5/4, I think it's 5.7 inches wide, so just just shy of 5 3/4. But then we also do a 5.1, a 5.2. So the idea, though, is that when the mill is cutting, they're not setting the head rig to cut just nothing but 5 3/4, so that when they mill it down, it's going to turn into 5 1/2. They're ripping, they're cutting random width off the log, and so the logs are not square things that are just they're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
So there's a myriad of widths that come out, and I think part of one of our foundational principles is making sure that we have keep the wood in the wood. Don't turn it into waste and sawdust, and put it up on the wall. And I think that's one of the green initiatives that we have, is to make sure that we're retaining as much of the fiber as we can. So if we're gonna take a 5.9 inch board and turn it into a 5 1/2, why? Somebody's it's gonna get turned into dust, or somebody's gonna pay for it. So why? What's the point? So we have all kinds of widths, and that helps reduce our waste, increase the yield, and that's
Which
why we
adds
have
to
some of the
creativity at that point too.
yeah.
You're not limited to just having to deal with a 5 1/2 by 5/4.
Right.
Typical board is what we see, right?
Yeah, and if you're putting down on a deck or up on a wall a 5.9 versus a 5 1/2, well, that's how many, over the course of a couple thousand square feet, how many more boards, less do you have to install?
Now, have you guys seen this? I mean, I know that with the composite side of the industry, they've gone as wide as is it full 8 inch?
10 inch, actually.
10 inch now.
Mm-hmm. I will say 98% of the sales are still 5/4 by 6 like they always were.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't
But,
make any sense
yeah.
to be that wide of a board. I don't understand why.
It's just there's what they're trying to do in the world of composite is emulate, I think, a lot of the design flexibility that naturally exists in wood. And when you're building a wood deck or a wood fence, you can use all sorts of different widths and all sorts of different species to create all sorts of contrasting and complementary different looks. And so I think the composites are trying to latch onto that.
But it's the lines that are appealing visually to the design process. No? Am I talking crap here? I don't understand. It's lines. So I want to see more lines on a deck, right? If anything, I almost want to go the old school route of the old houses. You guys remember 2 1/8 inch white oak or red oak, 3/8 thick, whatever, flooring, right?
I get asked all the time, well, and years ago when I used to be out doing architectural presentations more often, I would get asked all the time from architects, what should I be specifying? And I'd always steer them towards a 5/4 by 4 or a 4/4 by 4.
Yeah.
And I'd say in a world where synthetics are trying to, be more of the same, I always look at a 5 1/2 inch board and go, that's boring. But when you see a 4 inch, a 3 1/2, 4 inch board, it's I know it's cute.
It's funny you say
it's visually realism.
Our sales in the decking world, our sales are probably, they've got to be 20 to 1, 6 inch versus 4 inch. At the same time,
In favor of the 6 or
in favor of the 6.
of the 6?
My brother put a Thermory ash deck down on his house about 2 years ago. He used the 4 inch, and I'm biased because it's my brother's house.
No, it's beautiful.
It's one of the coolest projects I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly.
I mean, the pictures in my phone would blow you away.
No. I've used the 4 before, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it
Because
just
it's visually more appealing.
It just feels real.
Yes.
It just feels real. There's something that says
It goes back
it's not
to
fake.
nostalgic. It just goes back to the way the old porches used to be. It was just a different material.
Yeah.
And now this is a material that's going to last a lot longer. Those old porches were having to either strip the paint off, redo it again or whatever, maintain it at that point. That's the difference of it. So I'd like that old nostalgic feel of it.
You know, it's funny you say that. As 20-something years ago when I got started, we sold a lot of 1x3 Douglas fir tongue and groove for porches. Can't even get it anymore. Mills don't cut it. It's not a thing. I mean, maybe they do a little bit.
You got to find a real rare Amish guy.
You got to beg for it.
Yeah. Handsaw. You know what I mean? No, I get it. That's why I don't understand how you're saying 10 inches now. I haven't even seen that yet.
It's not a significant part of anybody's sales, but it's part of the portfolio.
Like I would never see a 10-inch synthetic board on the Black Pearl. You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't make any sense. It would stand out. It doesn't work that way, right? To me. So
at the same time, I mean, Thermory does a 5/4 by 8 deck board with some texture on it, and if you're doing
spruce.
In spruce,
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a large format deck, you know, something over 500 square feet that's got some real scale to it, it's a pretty cool look. And you know, it stands out when you walk on it. You immediately can tell, oh, this is different from every other deck I've been on. And there's some cachet around that.
And that's the regular deck boards, right? That's square cut. It's not TNG. Or is it TNG?
It's it's square cut, grooved or no groove. Yeah, so
Yeah,
screw it
so I mean,
down or use a clip.
The brochure has grown, right? Like you got started by talking about all the different widths on the decking side of things, right?
I think we started with like 2 widths and 2 thicknesses. It was with that.
That's
That
what
was
I
that
remember,
was
yeah.
that was OG Thermory.
Yeah. And that was just the ash, and then I think the pine came.
The pine came years later.
Years later. It was always the
It
ash.
It was
at first,
nothing but
right?
ash, and just in decking, no cladding, nothing.
And then now the cladding, you guys have a wide range of cladding now.
Huge range. But go back to the decking though; it's hysterical. I love telling this story. The gem joint on our product,
Which is a joint that you don't have to land on a joist.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so nobody was doing that, 10 years ago. Nobody. People looked at us like we had lobsters crawling out of our ears when we'd tell them about it. Christmas story quote. I don't want to claim that for myself. But the very, very gotta give credit. The very first load that we brought in actually didn't have an end match. We said that's going to be too crazy. People aren't going to like that. And
It just snaps right in.
and it's totally natural, right? But how many products had end match joints back then? None, right?
None.
So we were bringing in a product that was, you're using ash that's not rot resistant. You're doing what to it? You're doing heat and steam. What?
Don't forget
How does
metric
that-
lengths.
And it was metric lengths, and these odd widths. So yeah, and it was like, oh man, we're throwing 4 or 5 different weird new things at somebody. Like, no, we're not doing end match. I happened to be at a lumberyard in Massachusetts. If you threw a couple names at me, I remember the one, but just in a whim, I had the guy right on the line to start bringing in some of the first loads of Thermory, and he said, but the metric lengths and this length structure is just killer. Can't you end match it or something? So we had like 2 truckloads and I still partner in my old company. It was a millwork company, and we ended up end matching with we created a molder knife on a molder head, and we threw it in our shaper, and then with a sliding shaper, and then by hand we end matched
All of them.
2
For that one.
2 truckloads worth of material. Yeah, so the old days.
But now it's there. You
Now it's
order it.
commonplace, and everybody does it, and it's I love it. It's neat. I see.
Well, it's funny you say that it's commonplace, and it's become more commonplace. But Brendan, you still have to educate contractors about what a gem joint is, and a lot of times
100%.
they don't believe you when you tell them it can float
It doesn't
between
have to-
joists,
yeah.
and they're not going to fall through it.
100%. Or it's 2 things to that too, because now you say something nowadays. Actually, you say, "Hey, this is end match." They're like, "Oh yeah, I want this." So it's catching on, right? It's a no-brainer. It's great.
But
It's easy tallies.
Are you guys the only one that has that joint, or no?
I don't know. There's probably some out there, but
But the other good thing, like when you look at it, and as much as a lot of people have love for eBay, there's never a bad board. Like I haven't seen a bad Thermory board. Does that exist?
I'll go a step further with you. In 11 or 12 or 13 years, or however long it's been, I haven't seen a bad board. and there is not any other species that we're involved with, wood or composite, that I can say that about.
How is that possible?
it's our grading. There's, we get asked all the time about, why are you different? Why is Thermory different? We get phone calls. There's this competitor now, what's hysterical to me is I always get what I hear from you guys. Somebody calls you or other friends of ours. They say we're just like Thermory, but that cracks me up.
Yep. B-U-T-T?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just like Thermory, but and that's to me. I would be embarrassed to say that either as an owner or as a Jordan. If you caught Brendan saying something like that about a product you were competing with, that wouldn't be great, right? So, but I think that's one way that Thermory sets us apart. We set ourselves apart from basically anybody in the wood industry. There's say with ePay, you can have a clear grade. Well, clear, you're still going to get maybe a little wane, maybe a couple pieces that have a machine mark, maybe a knot here and there, some end splits. That's not how we founded Thermory, and that's not what we don't do that. We don't put out bad batches. We don't put out shit boards. You don't have cracks in the ends of our boards. You don't have knots in a face. And that's not the average. That's not the run of the mill, so to speak. That is the grade. When I tell people that you do not get a defect in the face of a board, that is what we deliver you on every single board. And so when we compete with people, are we the most expensive one out there?
I hope so.
100%. Absolutely. But I can assure you that when the contractors, when they're figuring their waste at 5%, it's too much. Because they're usually when they're coming back and they're saying, you got to be shitting me, it was 2-3%. That's real. It's real.
But okay, so the other thing is that I noticed through trim, and you probably saw some of this as well through the pandemic years, they were running it a lot faster and sacrificing quite a bit regarding quality. We were getting a lot more knots. We were getting a lot more defects, and then it was just getting frustrated when we were talking about trim, right? But we were seeing it in spruce lumber. We were seeing it in all kinds of lumber, but we still didn't see it in Thermory.
Right.
So even when everybody else was kind of dropping the ball a tiny bit because the industry needed product and we had to get it out there and the mills weren't moving as efficiently, but we still had to get it, you were hoping that the end user would just sacrifice and just say, forget it, we'll use it, doesn't matter, we're good, we'll take care of that problem later on. But you guys were still delivering not a bad batch at all.
Yeah, no, there was no, we're not pushing the product through the chambers. We're not, increasing the, jacking up the temp. We're not jacking up or reducing the time in the chambers. We didn't play games. We were adamant that a product stays 100% fantastic. Just like, those are our standards.
We finished the decking or any other decking products?
No, decking's boring.
It's not boring. Hang on a second. Because years ago when I got invited to Estonia, there was a product that I've told you since day one that I wanted to see where I was trying to figure out, where I'm going with this, right?
I do know where you're going with this, and that's one of my favorite products. And
bull flooring, is that where we're going? Or
no? No, herringbone.
Herringbone.
Or depending on spine, depending if you're Canadian, American, European, whatever. I don't know what it is you call, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is that still out there?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a product line.
Right.
We have inventory. It's still, absolutely.
Because that's gorgeous.
That was a cool product, and Jordan was actually able to sit front row and see how that happened. And this, I'll brag a little bit about how our innovation and how we come up with things. You called me one day and you said, "Kev, you got to come up with a herringbone module. You got to come up with a herring. If you got to figure out how to do a herringbone system over a conventional framing, that would be fantastic." All right, I called, my partner Malice, one of the founders in Thermory in Estonia. I said, my buddy Manny, he's got an idea to do herringbone decking. And I think within probably 3-4 weeks, we had a prototype built. Jordan and I happened to be going to Estonia together. We went to the factory. We had a prototype. We looked at it. Inside of about 15 minutes, we figured out, let's tweak this, tweak that, make a couple changes. Boom. 3 months later, I think inside of probably 4 months, it was a product line. We're a little bigger now, so it's a little tougher to run things so ragged like that. But
consumers are still asking for it?
Yeah, we sell it. There's we just did a job with we got a fantastic partner in Las Vegas, Greenline West Industries, and they sell our product all throughout Vegas, and they did a fantastic herringbone job.
And then there's the other one, which is the bull one, right? Is that what it's called? It's got the wave in it.
Yeah, I think we call it. I think is it wave or it's gosh, I can't remember the name of it right now. But
it's something I candidly don't sell very much of, but I think
Yeah.
it's just really,
But
really
there's always gonna
cool.
be that one project that's
We
gonna
haven't brought it
come
though
up,
yet.
right?
We just haven't brought it into our product offering here in North America yet.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we want to do that we like focus. We want to bring
Because
in
I would
products.
just stare at your 1x4 TNG, and I was like, why can't this be cut shorter? And then why can't I just butt these two joints together and then figure out how do I, on a 16 center,
Yeah.
can you do it on a 12? I was scratching my head too for the longest time trying
Yeah.
to figure out. But you guys came up with the
just
backing.
Yeah, there's a bracket on the backside,
Yeah.
and it's basically it looks like I think it's 3 or 4 boards that are put together
Yeah.
in a V pattern, and it goes down, and it goes over standard 16-inch joist spacing.
It looks nice to me, man.
Yeah, it goes down quick. I mean, you can't do a herringbone pattern easily. Can you imagine?
No.
Well, no, talk to any tile setter or talk to any hardwood flooring. But I mean, now it's in a deck,
Yeah.
which is beautiful. I think it goes back to it's a narrow board, right? Because it only comes in 1x4.
Gosh, I think we do it it's a 6-inch.
In a 6-inch now, you guys do it as well.
Yeah, I think we do a 4 and a 6.
It's stunning. All right, so enough of the decking. Get rid of that. Let's go cladding now.
All right.
So what
Yeah.
kinds of cladding are we talking about here?
Gosh, well, spruce, pine, ash, red oak, several different. Profiles are endless. I mean, we have a pretty wide selection in our offering, but we also, we have blanks. You can mill. You can take a square edge product that's already defected, already unmatched, and we can rerun it through the molder, and away we go. We have partners and distribution partners that have in-house milling that can mold here in the States. So we'll remill our product that's been modified at our factories in Europe, so we can have real-time, ready-to-go inventory. And with
And for those who
anything
haven't
custom.
used it, you cut through it, it's going to be the same color.
Exactly.
So you can mill it, you can change it, you can do
Yep.
whatever you want.
Yeah, and our partners here that are doing the milling, they appreciate the quality and the standards that they need to meet for it to be called a Thermory product. They do a fantastic job. Jordan's been milling our stuff. We've got a partner down in Texas, out west. We have partners as well. So,
And
and
need some partners up in Canada.
we're getting there. Yep, we're getting there.
I'm just saying, I still haven't received a royalty check for that spine or the herringbone or anything like that. But are you guys getting a lot of verticals? You're obviously getting a lot of verticals now, right? Everyone's asking
That's
for that.
probably a huge difference that's changed between when we started till now. I think verticals came in, maybe 3 years in, and it seemed I don't know. I think I'd probably guess that 60% of the jobs that get installed with Thermory it's probably vertical.
I mean, because it does look.
It looks better. It looks nice.
I'd still love to, and I've seen this with other products, garage doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cladding, right? I don't know if there's a garage door manufacturer that's actually selling it with the wood already on it. I think you have to still install the wood on top of it. So you can, at that point, you can use any. Or you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a manufacturer that's making the doors with it?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
You gotta, it's a woodworking project at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But there's nothing more satisfying than closing a garage and seeing all those joints just close, and now it just looks
We
continuous.
supplied a project last year
It's just
with your
stunning.
ash cladding throughout the house, and the garage doors were Ignite Dragon scale.
Oh, man.
And chef's kiss.
Yeah, exactly. You love Manny. I don't know if you know about Dragon Scale. That's a good one, Jordan.
What's that?
So
I've been out of the loop. No e-blast, no newsletters, no nothing. What is this? What are we talking about here?
It's Dragon Scale is one of the coolest products that they've come up with. So you take their thermally modified Nordic spruce,
Okay.
which has obviously already got the inherent
Yeah,
rot
I've
resistance
seen
of
it, yeah.
Thermory, and then they run it through a machine that embosses it to give it the look of, they call it Dragon Scale, call it gator skin, call it that crackled, burnt kind of look. And then 2 coats of black pre-finish with great longevity. And you've got that rich shoshugi bond burnt kind of look without any of the inherent messiness that comes with actual fire. And it's
Stability.
Thermory, so it lasts essentially forever.
And I'll call an ace here. I think if the quality standards of those that were producing this product originally in Japan 1,000 years ago didn't have an appreciation for the perfection and aesthetic, or the actual real longevity of the product. And so if you take a board now, and some of it, let's say, is thermally modified or not thermally modified or modified with other types of woods, the board itself may be rot resistant, but then you actually torch one side of the wood, you're going to create some instability, significant instability in the species. Maybe rot
Yours
resistant.
isn't torched.
Exactly. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're taking a completely stable product, completely rot resistant product, making it look, I would say, 99% aesthetically correct. You're getting the look, longevity, and in many cases, it's actually one of the few products that we have that's probably a cost-effective alternative. I knew we had something the first show that we had about 3 boards where we came up with a prototype. We put it on the back wall of our booth at IBS, and people would walk up to the booth, go up to the wall, they touch it, and immediately they go like this on their fingers.
They'd be looking for the residue. Totally.
And that's when I was like, we got them. This is it. This is real.
Ignite is now our #1 seller. We sell more Ignite than any other Thermory SKU.
Are you that project you're talking about? You talking about a horizontal or vertical?
The garage doors?
Yeah.
That was the garage doors were vertical. The siding was horizontal.
And they put that product vertical on the garage door.
Yep.
How wide was it? It's a
6 inch.
So 6 inch. But you're seeing the scales, like you're seeing the texture to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially different times of day, the way it would hit. And you still recommend Q-Tech? Or you not?
Q-Tech is a good product. Yeah, it creates an excellent stability with the product. It's Jordan does factory pre-finishing, and so one of the products that we brought to him years ago was Q-Tech, and it's done a fantastic job. It helps stabilize the wood.
It's just funny how the whole industry has changed, because if you were to talk to the industry and also homeowners about dark tones, they would never have accepted it because
amazing.
Nobody would ever back it.
10 years ago, Manny, we would run a job once a year in black through our finishing
That
facility.
rare, odd
and we would all walk
craziness.
through the facility that day saying, "Oh, look at these crazy people. They want a black house." And we'd laugh at them. And now
Everybody.
it's every single day we ship a project out in black. Every day.
Because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just bottom line. It just looks different, right? So why not? Okay, so what other products? What other siding products you have? You know, I still have some ash cedar, shakes.
Shakes is a product that I think we haven't officially launched that.
No, but you gave me that box like years ago, man, and I still have it. I look at it going, what can I do with this thing, man?
Yeah.
I got to figure out something with this, man.
Let me know when you figure it out.
We get there's so many different projects that not projects, but the products that we have in the hopper, in R&D that, man, there's probably more products we haven't released than we have released, but shakes is a good one, and I'm still adamant that there is a market for it. It's, again, we're up against cedar,
But cedar shakes, if you maintain it, it's getting replaced in 15. Am I wrong or no? If you maintain it, it's still going to get replaced. You're going to have to replace the whole roof in about 15 years, right? Or no?
Roofs, I really don't. I'd be a bad guy.
That's how I've seen it. It's just that you got to understand that it's a beautiful thing. It starts to weather, but eventually it's going to have to get replaced, right? And with your shakes, I'm assuming it would last longer than 15.
Absolutely, easily. It's ash. It's thermally modified. It's class 1 durability.
You ain't going
25
to
years
get
plus.
cupping. You ain't going to get failures. You ain't going to get any of that
Exactly.
stuff. But everyone's so used to cedar shakes at that point, right? That's why it was just interesting. I'll come up with something. Trust me, Jordan. I'll come up with something, man. I'll figure out something.
We still got to have you do some fun. I know you don't do the renos, but man, you got to.
I'll come up with something.
You got to come up
man.
with something.
I'll
Just
figure out something.
Yeah.
Like,
This wall doesn't have anything on it.
oh, we're leaving it black for that for now. So then everyone's name on the TV screen looks great, right? So, but
Ignite. It's black.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
You guys want
Can I get you into a wall today?
Brendan's up. Brendan, do your thing.
Yeah, the Ignite is awesome. So there's no doubt.
So it's the #1 seller right now.
It
I
is.
remember when you guys launched it, and you were still on like the fence trying to figure out if people are going to embrace this or not. And I was like, "This is a no-brainer, man."
Yeah,
What's wrong
that's
with you?
what-
Like,
that's where we-
no-brainer. I love this stuff.
That's where we
I think I
thrive,
was
though.
just in Japan too, and all of a sudden I came back, and I was like, "That whole country's wood." You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's all the siding.
No, I think I got a new favorite though. I know the Ignite is awesome. The mix and match.
Oh yes.
That's my new favorite.
Yeah.
What's
I
the mix
agree.
and match?
Yeah.
It's a combination. I mean, I'd rather you explain it.
No,
It's
come on,
It's
go.
a combination. So it looks like a batten strip, and it's all built into one profile. So and it's different widths and it's different thicknesses of the profile, and they all are tongue and groove. So you can install these vertically. And you talked about that aesthetic and everything looking sweet. Well, that's the look.
Any width, any like.
Yeah, so it's 5/4.
You do
There's a
5/4. There's an 8/4. There's a 4/4. Several different widths. So it's very
all integrate with the same T&G, so you can get this.
And of course, you can
Multi.
mix and match exactly that, and you can go either in a pattern or you can do a non-pattern. I think that's the way I would go, but it's really nice. That's my new favorite.
Now, the only downside, I'll bring up the negative. You just can't bend it. Is that correct? Unless you guys figure out a way.
You could. Well, are you speaking specifically about the
Like radius?
like a radius on a?
Yeah.
Like in
if
a
you're
deck?
running it vertical, you could. If
You
the boards
could,
are running,
you could. You can bend it on
Yeah.
a vertical, correct?
Yeah.
Right, but you can't bend it on a horizontal.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
No, because I've done it. I've done the test and I've tried it. I steamed it, and all of a sudden, I think I was walking you through when I was doing a front porch there, and
Yes.
I
Yeah,
suggested
yeah.
to the client, "Why don't we do curved stairs here?"
Yeah.
But we were already using the Ash 4-inch T&G.
Yeah.
And then we tried, and we tried, and we tried, and we couldn't, right? But ultimately, we came up with a better solution. We just ended up going a wider board and then cut it.
Yep.
And then reshaped it all again. We basically on site reshaped the edges and did the micro and all that stuff, and it looks stunning. But the risers, we
Gosh, I
bent.
remember that job now. I remember.
That was a challenge to do it because it was
Yeah.
all hidden fasteners too.
Yeah.
It looked stunning. It was absolutely gorgeous.
We were trying to come up with how to do because the treads are easy, but how to do the risers. That was the tough part.
That was just me going back on decking a tiny bit, but
Yeah, that's cool.
So no, I love board and batten. So now you can mix and match. What else is there now?
Don't forget the stripes. That's you. Your
love
favorite is the
stripes.
mix and match.
Okay.
My favorite is the stripes.
Good call.
Yeah.
And
That-
I'll say, especially with the clear pine, which we haven't mentioned to Manny at all.
Yep.
Are you aware of their clear pine products?
I told you already. No emails, no newsletters, no emails, nothing.
Well, let me take you out of the dark. So Thermory introduced clear pine was about 4 years ago, something like
No,
that.
it feels like 4 years ago, but it's really
Time's
only
moving
about,
fast when you get
it's only
grays.
only about 2. It's
Okay.
about 2 years ago.
So I'll expose my biases for a quick second. Western red cedar is still 20% of Russin's business. It's a really important product to me.
Beautiful.
It's helped put food
Can
on
we
my
edit?
table.
Can
I
we
love
edit
it.
that? We need to edit. Let's cut that.
Now
let's
let's
edit that out.
cannibalize
Let's
it.
edit that out. Flag the tape.
I can just
So lots of folks come to us asking for Western red cedar because that's what's in their head. But what they're
Yes.
thinking about is the Western red cedar that they got 20 or 30 years ago. And that's in very short supply today, and it's gotten very costly. And so Thermory's come out with their clear pine, which is 100% dead clear fiber, gorgeous rot-resistant siding, straight as an arrow. You use every piece. And compared to clear cedar, it's 40% lower in cost, something like that.
it looks almost the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of a different grain pattern. It is a different species.
Yeah.
But if the ultimate goal is I want clear wood on my walls, I want extremely low maintenance, and I want something that's never going to rot, and I don't have to think about it anymore, it's a winner. And so then what they've done to even take that a step further is they've added some profiles and gone into this thing with their stripes, which just makes my head explode.
So you can mix and match, or
No, but it's a profile that has grooves in it. But the depths of the grooves we've painted black. We painted black.
Yeah. Okay, now I get
But
it. I've seen
it's
this.
Manny, you're cutting edge, and look at behind you. That look exactly right there.
Yeah.
With the dark background and the brown wood in the surface.
All within one board.
All within one board. Yeah.
And they all match together. Like you can,
Yeah.
it connects all, locks into each other.
Yep.
Yep.
How you fasten it? Blind?
Blind fasten.
fasten. Yeah.
See, that's the other thing is that you guys actually think about the installation process.
Yeah.
Because not everything should
yes.
be face nailed.
Yeah, that's one of the things I go back to the beginnings. I was in the shop for 5-6 years prior, and I went to school for wood science, where we had a shop and a mill, and having a shop in college with sawmills and things is not necessarily a good idea with shop kids, but that's another story. We had a lot of
With
fun.
the beer store right next to it, or
Exactly.
something like that?
Yeah, we may or may not have run a case of beer through the sawmill.
This is during phys ed class? Or?
Different kind. So I ended up going back to school for only 2 semesters for wood science. But where was I? What was I?
Case of beer and wood. Yeah. Okay.
Case of beer and wood. Yeah.
So the science class, and you were experimenting.
science class, experimenting.
I don't know where else are we going.
Where
with that.
were we going with that?
You dovetailed onto that from Stripes.
Installation.
Okay, yeah, insulate. But we have our background is in the field and in the in the shop, and so in Brennan's case, being out in the field and and doing sales,
the end user,
the end user, it's we have an appreciation for what works, and so when we're thinking about creating a product, there's two things. One is anybody else doing it, and also how is this going to install and how is this going to affect our end user, both the architect and the installer. So we're always thinking about that from an installer's perspective, like make it the easiest for them. Make the architect want to spec it, make the installer want to use it, and that's keeping those two things in mind. We always do that. When we get spec'd by an architect, that's the ultimate, that's the ultimate reward for us.
But then you also need the tradesperson on site connected to the architect spec-in, because it's a lot easier to take a piece of paper and a pencil and draw out this spec. A lot harder to put that spec and make it a reality, right?
Right.
There's challenges there still on site.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But I mean, I've always said, and I think I've said this to you before when I was actually starting to do the first projects, it's almost like furniture making. 100% using the product, it's almost like furniture making. When you have to have that mindset on the job site when you're building, whether you're building a deck or you're adding siding to a project or you're doing something, accent piece of some sort, it's furniture making.
Yes.
So start putting your furniture cap on and start treating that process that way.
Yep.
That's how I've always looked at it, right?
Right.
So siding now, and I want to get into the last section of what you guys are not recently, but over in Europe has gotten into, is like one of my favorite S words, right? So saunas now, right? Finally making it to North America.
Finally making it to North America. And I think COVID has changed a lot of things, around, the health community. I think that people are more aware to the natural attributes of sauna. And, it's really taking off for us. It's insane. Go back 5-6 years ago, our friends in Estonia, you got to get into the saunas. You got to start selling sauna woods. And it was always, guys, we can't keep up over here with the things that we are selling, let alone the things that we're not selling. Let us get our feet under our ground. And that never happened. We never got our feet under our ground. We never do. We're always running as fast as we can.
But you had an industry here in North America that was just living by clear cedar saunas.
Correct.
Like that was it.
And that's it. That's it. And we, getting into the sauna world, we've branched into, we have a ready-made DIY sauna kit that you can buy through a couple of our dealers and directly through us in North America. Extremely easy to put together. Couple of guys in a day and you can put them up. They're barrel saunas. We get into some other shapes as well, but the lumber itself and the wood itself, we do a pre-milled, again with essentially perfection, in our milling and grading standards with both thermally modified and non-modified woods. So we get into
for saunas.
So we're actually
what species? It's still pine though, right?
So we can do pine, but really the primary species they're usually aspen, modified aspen, and alder, both modified and non-modified. We get into some spruce. We also do some Shoshugiban up-hearing products, Ignite. We get into Ignite. We'll do a black sauna wax, pre-finished black sauna wax, so it keeps the wood clean. It's black on the interior of your sauna.
Seen that. I can only imagine what that looks like. Really, huh?
It's incredible. We have a sauna. It's an Ignite sauna where the exterior, we use our Ignite product on the exterior of the sauna. It's all black, and then we use a black sauna wax on the inside. Man. It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm irritated with myself that I didn't think of that idea sooner because the one I have is not Ignite.
I was about to say, I know a certain person who lives in my house who really, really wants one.
But I love it. I mean, since, I was graciously one of our first customers, and I love sauna culture, and I use it to unwind. I think about my day. I think about, I listen to podcasts, maybe the Construction Life once in a while. And,
you don't have to tell me that you listen. I know you listen.
And some other, I'll listen to a book. I'll listen to music. Sometimes I sit in silence. But, man, the cardiovascular benefits, the other health benefits, it boosts your immune system. It's incredible. You get out, and, man, I do I'll do usually about a 2.5 to 3 hour run where I'll go in and out of the sauna at about 170 Fahrenheit. I'll stay in for
how long?
10, 15 minutes usually, and then I get out for another 5 to 10, go back in, and I repeat.
What most people don't realize about Kevin is He's actually 82 years old. He just looks that good because of the sauna.
It's the ice baths and the sauna. That's what's
Exactly.
going on.
Yeah, I know. We need to get into the ice baths. We haven't done that, but Jordan and I got to experience that recently. We went to Finland to go see a factory.
Terrible.
And
Well, you were telling me about this before we got started rolling.
But what was crazy? I think all of us, my fiance Carolyn and Jordan's wife Laura, they're like, absolutely not. There's absolutely no way we are not going to be going in the cold plunge. Now,
It was minus 18.
Minus
outside
18
at the moment.
Does it really
Fair-
matter if it's minus
Fahrenheit.
1 or minus 18?
No.
Fahrenheit. That's
What's the conversion? I'm not sure.
It's cold.
Cold. Cold.
But we get done. We get done with our first round, and there's this path that goes down to a river. The river was, they had a little section where here's the dedicated cold plunge area, and there's ice buildup everywhere. I think it was like a jet engine inside the water churning it so that it wouldn't freeze over. And I remember you, me, and Matt. He's our building products manager. All three of us were looking, and we're like, "Oh shit, no, they're going in. They're going in. They're going in." And they did it. I know. But the thing is, I've done it before in the Baltic, and there was ice floating out in the sea, and it takes some guts. You gotta prepare for it, but it feels good.
It does not feel good. It feels like thousands of knives stabbing
right
you all
after
at once.
Right after, it feels great.
Yes,
You're talking about it now. It feels
During
great.
it, no way. Right before it, no way. But right after it, amazing. That's how amazing it is.
But Laura did it, 5-6 times.
She's an animal.
Yeah, she's nuts.
My wife's a lot tougher than me.
Carolyn did it. She probably did it, I think, 3 times. I did it once. You did it once. I think Matt did it twice.
But it's good that you guys have
awesome.
finally brought it to North America now, right? So
Yeah,
can we
bring
get
it-
it up here? Can we order
absolutely.
it?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
there's we have a dealer just over the border here in on the Canadian side. It's B Sauna, and they do a great job. They sell our products. They do awesome.
Which is great.
Yeah. So
I like the idea of the Ignite on the outside. That looks really sexy.
yes, yeah, it's a slick product.
There's some.
We'll have that. That's going to be at IBS this year. We'll have
You're going to see it?
Yeah, we'll have the Ignite sauna.
Yeah, I think I
at
remember IBS. You guys were probably starting off with a 10 by 10 booth. You guys will probably have a 100 by 100 booth now, right? It's getting there. It's getting big.
We actually,
right?
I'll proud to say we have 2 booths. We have 2 booths this year. One is going to be dedicated to sauna, and one's dedicated to building products.
Are they next to each other, or?
Yeah, right across the aisleway from each other.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay,
It does make
cool.
sense. Yeah,
So you got a lot of people going down there.
yeah. I think, there's probably maybe 13 or 14 of us that'll be there.
Do you have your booth number yet, or what?
Yeah, it's
Or the booth numbers?
booth numbers. They're SU1629 and SU1633. So we'll be there.
It's gonna be a good
But
show.
I have to. We can't end this without talking about
We're
the
not
other.
done yet. There's
the
plenty
other.
to still talk about. What?
There's the other things we're bringing to North America.
Share.
Factory in 5.
When's that coming?
We don't know, but it's going to be in 5 or less. It's when I took over the role of CEO, I instituted a vision in the company that we are going to have a factory in North America.
Wasn't that
within
my
5
first
years.
question when I was in Estonia, and then we got to go to the factory and
Yeah.
check it out, and I started thinking, as beautiful
Why
as
isn't
this
there a
is,
fact- yeah, why isn't there a
don't we
factory?
have one there,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
that was 6-7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So now factory in 5.
Yeah, factory in 5. It's a vision. We're all behind it. Whether we do that through acquiring, related infrastructure that can help us set up, get a factory going. Say it's a sawmill, rough mill, finish mill, or something, or acquiring competition, or a greenfield. We have plenty of backing and motivation to get it going. So it's a vision. We're making it real. We've got a target to grow by triple within the next 5 years.
Wow. So you guys are gonna be busy. Both of you guys are gonna be busy.
Yeah, it seems like Brendan and I will probably have jobs for the next
He's
few years.
he's gonna be ice bathing it and sauning and golfing it, right? That's what he's gonna be doing. While you guys are gonna be just putting orders out.
At the end of 5 years, I'm going to need an ice bath for sure. Yeah, I'm excited though. It's
That's a huge undertaking,
yeah, it's a huge undertaking,
but it's about time.
yeah,
I think the
Yeah.
market needs it.
yeah. It's something we've always been asked, and I think it's easy to forget, or people don't necessarily know that we service over 60 countries around the world, 60.
Wow.
So, every one of those 60 countries says, "Why don't you have a factory here?" Well, then how green is that?
No, it's not.
It's not green either. So, and to the infrastructure and it's not just one factory. I think we have 6 or 7 factories in Scandinavia. you know, that's why put more capital into setting up a factory when we already have one that can run circles around anything else in the world. So the point, you know, the reason why we need to triple sales is we need to be able to get to the point where it justifies the magnitude and size of the factory that we want to have here. So we can go and set up a couple molders, 3 or 4 molders, and set up a couple chambers, and that's easy. We could do that inside of 5 months if we wanted to. But that's not the size and magnitude that we're talking about. We've always been the leader in the industry, and we plan to set that, increase that distance drastically. Nobody else produces nearly as much product as we do, and nobody's going to catch us either.
There's trust me, man, I've been to the shows and you see the competitors, you see supposedly, I guess, knockoffs or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like, I see it, but I don't feel it.
Exactly.
There's a difference there, right? So I look at it, and I can give you another list of products that you guys could probably start inquiring about building and seeing it, because I'm pretty sure that the market probably wants them. Mm-hmm. But if you guys started doing sheds.
Well, we have a sauna factory that makes...
It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But, you got a wide range of products there that would do really well. But the other thing that you'd probably want to mess around with are tree houses as well.
We'll take it a step further. I mean, we already have we have a factory in Latvia that produces tiny homes. So we have a brand, Tiny Rebel Home, that we have plans to...
Using your products?
Using our products. It's CLT construction. And we'll start bringing that in.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what I mean. There's so much behind us that nobody knows about yet. That's what I'm here to talk about. Is
the other thing you guys need to start tackling, which I can't stand the whole industry for this one product. I can't stand it. Are fences. I hate board fences and lattice fences. I can't stand it. I have such a hatred, the same way I have a hatred for shaker panel kitchens and glass block. I can't stand any of that crap. And I get why fence boards are 6 feet long. You know what I mean? I get all that stuff, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I think here's an opportunity for us now to look at what you guys have product-wise and design a new way of a fence for North American backyards. Because that vertical board, staggered, whatever it is with the lattice on top is just pure garbage now. That's what we all grew up as kids.
I'll tell you what, I would love to take the product that Brendan was speaking about, our mix and match profile, and component driven, drive that as a component. And, so you have...
That's a good looking fence.
2 to 3, 4 foot sections.
I would go 4.
Did you pick up that soundbite there?
Because you think it's going to get installed that fast, right?
Why wouldn't it? Yeah.
After the second beer, I'll be ready to go. I'll be looking at it thinking, okay, now I'm good to go, right?
Hanging panels.
I think hanging panels...
Don't think of it as individual boards, but have those
what
individual boards
put
pre-assembled.
The post every 4 feet and put a 4-foot hanging panel right there, and that's my fence.
Exactly.
And if I did it in one of your sidings, that's just 1,000 times better, more appealing to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's make notes, man. That's all it is. There's a whole assembly line there.
Jordan,
I
love it. Even Jordan's, his wheels are turning.
Because I told you, I know that you get the big box stores, they're selling the panels. You see them, right? They're selling them they're 6 foot wide, whatever. You just hammer right in, they're already done.
And they're $50 a panel.
And they last about as long.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They just look like garbage, right? And they're the panels that you see the bear on the TikTok videos falling right through when he's being yelled at and he's running away from the homeowner. But if you build it properly with a Thermory product, that bear is going to be climbing on top of that, probably add to the Ignite and add some character to it as he climbs over the fence, right?
Well, the product that we would make that with is actually called Kodiak. So, well, everybody's going to think that we completely set up
bear claws or accented bear claws.
Well,
right?
I'll just throw this out as long as we're R&Ding stuff on the fly here in this podcast.
Let it rip.
We got an awful lot of 4 foot and 6 foot ash.
Yeah,
that we would love to find a different way to use.
Yeah,
to reserve the longs for the siding builds.
Man, look, trellises. We're so used to seeing a typical trellis of some sort of garden trellis that's always been this white kind of go-to. Why can't we have more of a ash or pine that gets weathered with the plant, the vegetation inside? They're prefab stuff,
100%,
a bunch of stuff. And the other ones that I'm actually just tinkering around with and still trying to sketch and figure out are planters that are not traditionally designed. You know how we're also used to planters a certain way, the window boxes and things like that. There's other ways of doing it. There's totally other ways of doing it that can incorporate that fence line.
Yes.
Right. So it's just like there's all kinds of. You saw I did some planters out of your product. I had some leftover stuff. Let me just try this out, and I figured it out.
Yeah.
So like there's all kinds of different products or ideas that you can do. That's why I said put your woodworking hat on. Simple as that. Put your woodworking hat on, and you'll be fine, and you'll figure out new ideas of how to use the product, and especially the offcuts too as well. How many pieces you got there in the shop there?
I got a couple.
Yeah.
No, there's all kinds of stuff. That's what I love about it. You guys are always innovative. You're always coming up with good stuff. And I just, all the tradespeople that listen, they should just try it out for one time. You get a hold of it, you'll understand what we're talking about.
100%.
It's as simple as that, right? So there's a difference between the gold little monkey statue and the bag of sand. Like you got to hold on to the gold monkey statue and then go running away from the ball. Everyone's know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's the difference basically we're talking about here.
Yep.
And then once they do, then they're sold at that point.
Exactly.
Then you can sell it to clients.
Repeat customers are that's what we do. We get them and then they don't go away. Sometimes we encourage them. Try it.
But you have to.
And then come back.
You have to. You have to see what's going on, right?
If you love them, let them go. But we love our clients. So and they always
I guess
back.
the last thing I want to ask you before we get into the 12 questions here is there's no issues that your product's indoor outdoor.
Yeah, it's just heat and steam.
Yeah.
So
there's no chemical on it.
no.
So there's no VOCs or none of that. You can use it interior as an accent wall.
Exactly.
You can do any of the products.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the interiors product that we've launched, it has a dual purpose. It's both sauna interior lumber, and it's for sauna, or it's both sauna interior, and it's interior home. So, really, really cool, Scandinavian profiles, designs that are, truthfully nothing like I've ever seen in North America, but use them both inside a sauna and inside your home. If you can heat it up to 180 degrees inside of a sauna and breathe that in, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's no issue at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And you want that. And you're still getting the same. It's a sauna. You're still getting all the benefits from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Any more questions for us?
I don't think there's any more questions. I think I've covered everything as much as possible. I'll miss you guys in Vegas. I mean, I'll probably go the following year when the booth's like 100 by 100.
I think it'll be back in Orlando next year. Whoever's making the decision, again, please.
I thought it was
go back. Keep it in Vegas. Keep it in Vegas.
In Vegas for good. Last time
I had heard that rumor too.
I have heard that rumor too.
It's going to stay in
Orlando.
Vegas. Nobody wanted it to go. No offense to Orlando.
I think it's to appease everybody that doesn't want to go to Orlando. That it just gets them through the years so you can go back to Vegas.
Yeah, I guess.
But in all fairness, I think it's easier to navigate the show in Vegas than it is in Orlando.
Well, for sure. I mean, in Orlando, you spend half the show in traffic. At least that was my feeling.
Yeah.
At least in Vegas, you got the monorail. It's easy to get around town.
Far more better places to eat.
Better places to stay. I mean, I got to tell you, that place we stayed in those few years in Orlando, I think I still have bed bugs from that.
Yes.
No, I think that's good. It's great. It's good to see everybody, and then everyone's doing well. And nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
And you're like, it was funny off mic. We were just talking. I miss it too. I miss boots on the ground, kind of just tinkering around, right? So
I do.
But I still get those moments where you start operating a tool and you get a little scared by the sound of it. You're like, oh fuck, I haven't heard that in a while, right? So,
A little rusty.
A little rusty.
Yeah.
but then you get back into the swing of things, right?
Just like that.
I always loved a lathe. I loved working with working on a lathe and
Do you have one?
I don't. I need to get one again. But man,
You should lathe a piece of Thermory.
Yeah, why not? Right? Totally. Feeling that hot dust come off the back of your hand, man, something like that.
That is a good, nice feeling. Eh? Unless the board splits and then it goes shooting.
Well, in college, again, doing things in a shop when you're a college kid, things you shouldn't do is I started. I was working with a piece of firewood. It was a piece of spalted curly maple firewood.
Yeah.
And I picked it up and threw it on the lathe and stood back with the skew like this as the whole lathe is.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. Yeah, don't do this at home. But yeah, turn that into a vase and.
It was vibrating the whole time? No,
No,
the beginning.
once it got
once it gets started.
Once it got true in a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's a little scary.
A little scary.
a little
Don't do
scary.
things like that at home.
www.thermoryusa.com. Reach them at support@thermoryusa.com and also sales@russin.com. And then on Instagram, it's Thermory USA, and then it's Russin Lumber Corp on Instagram. You guys ready for these questions? I don't think I sent you. I think I may have sent you, but you ignored them. That's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't worry. There's no right or wrong.
Okay.
Never is. What is your favorite construction word? We'll go one by one. What is your favorite construction word?
Straight edge. It's precise.
Mixed grain.
Plum.
Oh, you would go plum.
Least favorite tool.
Oh, shit.
Now, it doesn't have to be a tool.
That's my brother.
That's
Love you, Adam.
What's up, Adam? Least favorite tool. Planer. It's just so boring
and loud.
and loud. Yeah,
Screaming. It's like the
Yeah.
horror tool of the arsenal.
yeah, yeah.
Like loud. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the impact driver.
Oh yeah.
The older you
Garbage.
get, the
I
more you
agree.
hate it.
Yeah.
What construction sound do you love?
Zzz, zzz, zzz.
Is it bad to
Are,
say
you,
that
are, you,
on
are
the
we supposed to
register?
describe? Are we supposed to describe the sound or make the sound?
No, you don't have to make the
It's
sound.
better
You're
when
the first one to make the
I
sound.
liked it when you make the
But that's
sound.
good. Maybe I start getting people to make the sound.
This is, of course, I'm the first.
No, you could tell people upset ka-ching like that. Totally. That's a sound. That works. That's businesses doing well.
Is that on me?
It's on you.
Oh, I was gonna say miter saw. I love the sound of miter saw.
Wrapping up and toning down
Yeah.
until it gets stuck, and then all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite beverage?
Old fashioned.
That's
Oh,
two
God.
shows in a row. Old fashioned. Somebody else had the same.
You don't really? Oh man, I gotta go dirty martini.
I'm gonna go with a coffee.
Not a
Right on.
bad choice.
It's not a bad choice.
Somebody's in rehab.
Nailed it.
Worst and best part of construction?
Worst and best.
Sometimes it's the same.
I'll take that. Change.
I was gonna say change because it's something you want it and don't want it at the same time. It's what propels us all forward.
Right. You fight against it and it makes you better.
I'm gonna say winners in Western New York.
Winters.
Winter. Oh,
Winters.
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 Where are you from?
Outside of Buffalo.
Yeah. Him and I are both from Buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty much the same as ours, right? Almost
Sure.
the same.
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, but we get
But that's
There was
is that
like-
the worst.
We had
That's the worst?
20. We just
What's
had
the best?
26 days of no sun. 26 days of no sun.
Is that what you guys have gotten?
Yeah. We just had sun for the first time
yeah,
since
there's
like
lake effect
December.
that you guys don't see up here.
No, we don't
we
get
just
it.
get
That's a good
bombed.
point.
You spend a week and a half shoveling, and it's hard to get things done.
Okay, so that's the worst, but what's the best?
The best part is when you are done with a job and you can look back and see what you've accomplished. That's my favorite part.
Favorite curse word?
Fuck.
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 There we go. 3 bucks for a house board. What's your favorite vehicle in the entire world? Any mode of transportation?
I gotta go Land Rover.
All right.
Wait, like which model?
Defender.
Okay.
Pontoon boat.
This is so you. I love it. Yes.
I like that. Skis.
Oh shit! See, I want to start over. You guys came up with
And
really.
then pick
I
another
thought I was
one.
being
Don't worry,
creative.
there's no right or wrong. Pick another one. Any
yeah.
mode of transportation gets you from point A to point B.
Hockey skates.
What do you guys miss?
I'm a
from your
Bauer guy.
childhood?
Bauer, not CCM.
Sorry, what?
I'm a Bauer guy, not CCM.
So now we're dropping brands there. What do you guys miss from your childhood?
Right now, I'd say my dad.
Yeah.
I miss when it was just me and the guys and there wasn't a care in the world.
Yeah, I miss the carefree feeling.
What profession other than your own would you guys like to attempt one day?
Oh gosh, when I was a kid, it was Legos and drawing house plans, and I think I would have been an architect in another life.
Still time.
There's still time.
Well, you got to design the factory.
But I love what I do. There you go. I'm going to design the
You
factory.
got to design a factory.
Yeah.
I'm still pitching for the R&D department at Thermory, so we'll see what happens there.
You won't get any royalty checks. Take it from me.
Anything that involves a microphone.
His voice. He has such a, doesn't he have such a, you got such a podcast radio voice. That was always one of the things I admired about you is
I've got a face for radio.
Why don't you guys start a Russin like podcast? No,
I don't want to creep up on your shit, Danny.
no. Just start it, man. And start talking of it. Talk to everybody, so everyone can just like. By the way, don't come by. We don't have any more. We're all sold out. Leave it at that. That's it.
Because a couple of us can do a good impression of you. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that, but please have at it.
Go ahead.
This is Jordan. This is Jordan. It's pretty good.
I'm not part of that.
Is my voice that deep? I mean, you sounded like James Earl Jones. Welcome to Verizon Wireless.
See? Look at you. Hear that?
The radio voice. Start the show. What profession would you guys not like to do?
Kindergarten teacher.
Not a tumor. Yeah, I know.
Attorney.
Proctologist.
Jesus.
That's the first one on the show. And it's a very valid one. Sure.
I mean,
You think he uses the
bringing
word
these on
a-hole
us, so
all
we're
the
just-
time? Like every day, a-hole this, a-hole
That's it.
that? Like that's how he describes everything, or she describes everything?
Ass man.
Sure.
You're the ass man.
that's true, though. It's a hell of a license plate.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you guys like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
You were close to not making it, but good to see you. You were right at the edge there, bud.
Slide in.
I'll meet you skiers right.
I have no idea. What was the question? I wasn't.
If heaven exists, what would you guys like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Oh, welcome. Or bienvenue.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
Where's the French connection here?
I don't know. I'm up here. I figured. Added.
That's one province. That's
We
one
saw it on
province.
signs. Don't lie.
And they still think, yeah, I don't want to get into that
They were
world.
very
right?
bilingual on the flight over.
Yeah, unless you go to that one province.
That shall not be mentioned, right?
Don't worry, everybody in Montreal that listens, they love it. They
Exactly.
get it. They just can't leave. That's all it is. So
Listen,
it's all fine.
us upstate New Yorkers sometimes think the same thing about New York City. So
That's fine. I'll go straight home from here.
just make it clear Jordan's from New York. So
Gentlemen, man, it was great to have you guys on the show, talking shop. Looking forward to Vegas. I'm sure I'll see a bunch of posts that are going on when you guys are up there. Are you going down there too?
I'm not.
You're not going down there.
Oh, I'm busy selling.
How come you're going down?
He's minding the
big-
store so I can go play in Vegas.
We got big goals. So,
Okay, so you'll be
Boots on
seeing
the-
all the action going on from there.
yeah, boots on the ground.
And then again, what's the booth again? Number, Kevin?
SU1629 and SU1633.
That's it. All right. So you're gonna let me know. You're gonna back on the email blast, right? So I can know what's going
Right on.
on, what's happening, what's
Yeah, absolutely.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's all cool.
Totally. We'll make sure you're connected.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't have to redecorate this, but the drift or the ignite idea on that is not that bad of an idea.
Absolutely.
It's a cool idea. We'll
And
see
thanks
that.
for I got to formally thank you for putting our stuff up here on the walls. That's awesome.
What else am
Love
I
it.
gonna put up here? It would look weird if it was.
You have
anybody
choices,
else.
but we appreciate that.
No,
Appreciate
I don't
you.
have choices. I was like, I was going back to my roots when I first
I love
met
it.
you. I started thinking, what do I want to see in the studio? And that's how this all came about.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm honored that I'm here in the studio and then our product is on the wall. That's a pretty neat thing for us. And full circle.
Pretty
It's
much,
been-
yeah. Pretty much,
It's been a
yeah.
long time.
So it's good. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Everybody, again, www.thermoryusa.com, support at thermoryusa.com, and then also sales at russin.com. And then, what was the website? Is
Russin.com.
Russin.com. That's right. And then also on IG, it's Thermory USA and at Russin Lumber Corp. That's it, guys. We're done. Goodness. Everyone
Awesome.
relax now? You guys are going to a hockey game now, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Go pull a sweater over somebody's head.
Don't start a fight. No, start a fight. You guys won't start a fight. Canadians don't fight. That's
I
the
won't
problem.
win.
No, it's all good. That's it. Thanks, guys. Really
All right.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Angela.